Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Bar Restaurant Breakthroughs podcast. This is episode number 10, Easiest System for Holding Your Employees Accountable with Shane Murphy. I thought it was important to do this episode because, from all the different bar restaurant owners that I talk with, even just knowing from my own struggles in the past, having your staff take care of, remembering to do side work, remembering to do maybe your social media stuff for you on a daily basis, can get aggravating at times because maybe they're not doing the things that they need to do, but it's because we don't have the right systems in place to get them to do that stuff. So today I want to bring on Shane Murphy, who actually works with a company called Jolt. And this is actually a software that I installed probably about 4 months ago at Casey's that has pretty much systematized the whole way that we open the bar, close the bar, just for our staff, and also how we kind of manage some of the daily social media stuff that we want our staff to take care of. So I'm going to go through some of those, but first, Shane, if you can, go ahead and introduce yourself, kind of tell us your role with Jolt, and tell us exactly, what Jolt is in your terms.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Shane Murphy. I'm the head of sales for Jolt Software, and Jolt provides an operations platform for restaurants and bars that provide tools for employee management and food safety compliance. So operators are able to see a ton of cost savings and especially an increase in employee accountability and efficiency and overall productivity. Our whole goal is to improve the communication channel for day-to-day operations and really enable companies to improve compliance to business and local standards. So operators have real-time visibility into their stores, what's happening, and the quality of those tasks, even when they aren't there. So we do everything from digital task management to audits and self-audits, time and attendance, scheduling, employee announcements, food safety labeling. We have a lot of products that are built to be a platform to help operators and to help the line employees as well. So that's a little intro to Jolt. The whole goal is save people money, eliminate those double labor costs that happen from retraining over and over again, and tasks not getting done and having to be done the second time. Pencil whipping, want to eliminate that, improve quality of tasks, and even just with, labeling itself, Jolt is a quarter of the cost of day dots and takes a 30 to 60 minute project down to 5 minutes. So you're able to cut a lot of labor costs. And even when you're remotely monitoring different stores, because you can't be there all the time, alerts can go off via text or email if certain temperatures are out of range or key tasks are overdue, or even when a certain audit or task is completed. Everyone has visibility and the ability to get things done the way you want them done.
Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite features is just being able to have that app either on my phone or on my iPad, and I can see what's being done, what hasn't been done. So, for example, I just want to give some of the bar restaurant owners an example of kind of like how I use it in my business, and maybe we could talk about some of the different ways that you've seen other bars and restaurants use it as well. One of the biggest problems that we always had that just drove me nuts that I couldn't find a solution for was, and it was just a little pet peeve that my dad always had that jumped on me about, years ago, no paper towels or toilet paper, right before a busy Friday, Saturday night. They're coming to the bar, customers are saying, hey, you're out of toilet paper. Hey, well, this stuff should be stocked up from 2 to 4 every single day right after lunchtime. So during the night, we shouldn't have to deal and mess with that and pull a bartender, pull a waitress to go in there and do that stuff. So one of the features that I love that you guys have is where you have to scan a QR code. So with Jolt, one of the things that we have is a to-do on every single day. Between 2 and 4, they need to get this done. And if they don't get it done, we can have notifications come to us showing us all the things that don't get done within Jolt. But we put this little QR code that Jolt creates for us, and we put the little piece of paper on the side, not where customers can really see it, but in order for them to check this off on their to-do list, they need to scan it with the iPad, the phone, that will then check that off. So that's a great way for me to know that they're actually going and doing this, because the only way for them to get it done is to actually go and look at the toilet paper and the dispenser and the paper towel dispenser. So, I mean, that's just one little thing, but it's also, also taking out the garbage or anything that you can think of that, an employee can just check off. We've had these checklists that before on paper. And of course, they can just check it off and say, yeah, I did it. And yes, you can still do that with some stuff in Jolt. However, if you want to just completely, make it where they can't do that, you could just use that QR code for certain things that make them do that. Just another example of how I just started using the QR code feature was just a couple of weeks ago. Our front door in the wintertime here tends to not always lock sometimes. So we had our alarm go off three weeks ago because of the wind, and now we're getting called. It's 3:30 in the morning. Well, what happened? Well, they didn't go check the door and make sure it was completely shut. So now we put that little QR code right next to the door on their closing list every single night, where they have to actually scan that and say, yes, we made sure that this is locked. Now we haven't had a problem at all with that. And that actually happened 2 times within 2 weeks, about 3 weeks ago. But, it's just those little features that I really love about Jolt. The other thing that I think I love most that we use it for is the training purposes. Obviously, you always want to make sure, and this is one of the main reasons why I jumped onto Jolt with your guys' company, was because I was so frustrated with the training systems we had in place. Well, I should say this. I didn't have the best training systems in place, okay? I'm never there. I want to make sure every single bartender, every single waitress gets trained the exact same way. So what I did was I spent, 4 or 5 hours putting together a training list of, what I want the employee to know, what they should expect of us, what I expect of them, kind of how we operate, and then just all the little different things that they need to know about pouring certain shots, pouring certain cocktails, where, receipt paper is, where the keys are to lock the doors, where the liquor key is to go get liquor. I mean, there's all these things, changing the TVs on how to do that, changing sound. There's all these things that people need to know. And over the years, I've had customers complain and say, hey, your bartender doesn't even know how to turn on ESPN on TV number 3 for me. What do you do? What do you have her working back here for? And it's embarrassing, So now it's like, now with them going through this training program, step by step, that they follow in order, at the end, once they go through their training for 5, 6, 7, 8 days, X amount of hours, before we now let them go on their own shift, we have our own separate little test in there created through Jolt that they have to complete on their own in order for them to be on their own behind the bar or on the floor. So those are just some different ways that I personally use Jolt. The reason why I jumped on the Jolt was mainly because of the training system, because I want to make sure every single person gets trained the exact same way. And one last quick thing, too, that I love about Jolt is the videos. You can record little videos and put those in there as a to-do. So you get a new person that comes on for a daily task and they're like, oh, I don't really get what this means. I don't know what this is. Or, hey, I don't know how to change a keg. I had our head manager take a video on his iPhone of how he changes a keg, how he drains the line and all that through our line system. But now if bartender's ever there for any odd reason and can't remember how to, change a keg, hey, there's a video right there showing exactly how our system works. So again, those were just some of the ways that I've used it. Why don't you give the people, who are watching and listening, kind of just some other scenarios of how restaurant owners, bar owners are using Jolt to kind of solve their frustrations with staff and management and just, systems of just making sure things are getting done without them having to be down there and look every single day that things are getting done.
Yeah, absolutely. I love those experiences that you shared, because it really highlights the problem that there's things that need to be done, and we're either spending a bunch of time for someone else to continually teach others how to do it over and over and over again, or as an owner, you're spending all of your time that you don't have enough of to go around, and that's costing you. So solving that is a huge problem for owners and operators and management in general. Other ways that we see a lot of folks using the system are, there are photo items. So we have check marks, those QR codes that you mentioned, Nick, photo items. If you want someone to just snap a picture of a restroom check to make sure that, hey, it's not getting left at train wreck and our customers are having a bad experience when they go to the restroom, you can use a picture to validate those things. Same thing.
I like that. I don't mean to cut you off, but now that we're on that point, the other thing I just want to explain how I use the whole picture thing is sometimes I'd have some girls coming in hoodie. We have a dress code. Does everybody always sometimes follow that dress code? No, and we got uniforms obviously in place that people need to be used. I'm not there all the time. My wife isn't there all the time. So sometimes we'd find out that some of these guys coming in hoodies, their hair up in a bun, look like they just walked out of bed. Now what they need to do is they have to snapshot a picture of themselves and upload that in there that is then sent to us so we could see how they look for work, because we want them to come in looking the best to make the most amount of money, and obviously, we want people to look great when they come into work, right? So that's a way that we also use the photo as well, and then that also holds. This is the whole thing that I love about this. It holds your staff accountable. They know that they have to take this picture. They know it's going directly to you, and that if they look like they just woke up and got out of bed, they know that there's going to be repercussions that happen. Maybe they lose a shift. Maybe they, it's their third strike. Now you're done. But now that now they know that they're being held accountable. And when employees don't know that or when they know that they're not being held accountable, what the hell is the reason for them to do it if they don't have that drive and motivation? Is personally what I've seen and kind of what I've noticed from talking with other owners and clients. It's just, you got to find ways to hold them accountable. Jolt's a great system for that. So didn't mean to cut you off. I just got excited when you talked about that. I wanted to share how I use that as well. But let's go on with a couple more things that how people could use Jolt.
No, yeah, that's perfect. Other common use cases are, temperature logs, whether it's your walk-in or even just food items. We have an integration with a Bluetooth probe to eliminate the human error that ever gets involved with temping. So your line items, if they're ever out of a specific range for standards, it'll shoot off those alerts right away, so you're not serving bad food. If a freezer is out of temp, it'll let you know right away so that you're not wasting hundreds and thousands of dollars in product because a freezer or fridge went out. You're able to be proactive instead of reactive, and that's all geared to save the bottom line. You mentioned HR write-ups too. That's a huge one.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because I didn't know that about the Bluetooth with the coolers and everything. Because that's really important. So you're saying, and I didn't know this, so you're saying you can put some type of Bluetooth device in your freezers and your beer coolers, and if it gets to a certain temperature, it'll send you a text message, it'll send you an email?
Yeah, great question. So later on this year, we're actually going to be launching and introducing the Temp Sensors for equipment, where you have a sensor, in those units, and if something is out of range, it'll create a new list on the iPad for corrective actions. It'll let everyone know you can track trends. That's all coming out later this year. Right now, we have a Bluetooth temp probe specifically for food products, where if you stick that in a steak item, that's going to temp the food, and if it's outside of that threshold, it'll automatically let you know. Generally, restaurants are having to do those temps every 3 hours, sometimes even more frequently on the line, and making sure that's in compliance is huge. All the auditors are going to come in and say, let me see your temp logs. And oftentimes you go scramble, find all the pieces of paper, and there's holes all over that sucker.
Yeah.
This ensures that it's getting done on time. If it's not, it's going to shoot off a notice. And if it's out of temp, corrective action is happening immediately, not reactively, and you're having to fight a food illness case.
Right. Okay, awesome. Is there anything else that you could think of that, any other kind of case studies, anybody that you're working with that is like really uses to transform, their business, their life? I mean, it's helped me out a ton. And the other thing that I just want people to understand too is the great thing about Jolt is you could have lists and reminders created where it reminds you like on a monthly or bi-monthly or every 6 month time period as well. So we're starting to do that with our coolers to blow out the condensers, the beer coolers and everything, where that's automatically popping up for our manager to take care of and do. There's just so many different things in a bar or restaurant that need to be checked, not just on a daily basis, but stuff like every once a month, once every 3 months. And those are the things that I notice that I would tend to forget about quite often. So it's great having these reminder systems in place where it's like, hey, I can never forget about this stuff unless it comes to me and I do nothing about it. But that's what's great is like you actually have to check it off. You get the notifications if it's not checked off. And if you find that yourself, you can't personally do this stuff, that's where you get your manager and hold them accountable to do this stuff for you, right? So that's the other great thing that I love about Jolt is, don't think of this as just like a daily checklist type thing, but it could be a monthly, bi-monthly checklist for, anything in your business that needs to be taken care of. But do you have any other kind of case studies or any other scenarios that you've seen, bars, restaurants kind of have a big transformation in their business from Jolt?
Yeah, great question. The industry standard has come from paper, which this is an obvious transformation there to hold people accountable. Like you said, accountability is absolutely key to running a tight ship and a profitable business.
Right.
One key standard that's been what everyone's done in the industry has been handwriting your expiration labels for, food safety, your day dots, and people spend, way more than they need to, not only on the labels themselves, they might be spending, 1.5 to 3 cents every single label, and they're paying somebody 30 to 60 minutes a day to go handwrite all these day dots. There's errors all over it. You can't read them. It takes a lot of time. Jolt's labeling system gets raving reviews because not only do you take that cost per label from 3 cents down to 0.3 cents, 0.3 of a penny, and save money there, but then you literally take a 60-minute project down to 10 minutes a day.
Yeah.
And you're able to either reinvest that employee's time in the business and get more done and focus on the customers, or you can even shave off 50 minutes off the schedule and just cut your labor costs by $10 a day, and that adds up really fast. So everyone, whether it's a Chick-fil-A operator, a Buffalo Wild Wings, a large corporation, or Casey's Pub, people generally are coming to us and saying, you're saving us money every single month, whether it's $400 a month, $800 a month, it goes up and up from there. This is a savings tool and an accountability tool.
Well, you're not $400 a month.
Say that again?
You're not $400 a month or $800.
No, that's what we save.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I just didn't want people getting confused that they thought that this was $400 a month. I forgot even what we're paying. What is it per month at the time of this recording?
Yeah, so it's $50 a month.
Yeah.
And so it's super cheap. I mean, we're giving it away. When we started with just checklists, this was $50 a month, and our philosophy has always been, how can we provide more and more and more value?
Exactly.
So that's where we've expanded to, announcements, information distribution, training, labeling, scheduling, the whole 9 yards. And that's why people come and say, yeah, Jolt is a no-brainer because I paid $50 this month. I made $400 this month from Jolt. That's what it did to my labor. That's what it's doing to my hard costs. Jolt is here to make lives easier and to save money at the end of the day. And that's what we do for any business. Yeah,
I mean, it's worth it to me, and we'll wrap this up. But if anybody is interested in Jolt, just check out jolt.com, take a look at it, do a demo with them. That's what I did. I'm always looking for product services, and I always use them personally. Before I ever recommend them to my audience, I want to make sure that I like it. There's no problems with it. Jolt I've been using for 4 months. I love it. It's worth it just for me knowing for the training that every single employee is going to be trained every single way that I want. I created a short 17-minute video that they are to watch of me talking. Actually, it's just a keynote of just kind of what I expect of them, what they should expect from me, how I treat our employees, and just kind of, just I want them to understand our vision, our culture as a business and what we strive for in customer service. I think it's really important that every single person gets that same exact message integrated into their head. And I don't want that message being, or having a chance of that message being, misinterpreted by another employee, by another manager. So it's great for $50. I'd pay more, knowing that I had this system in place. It's just, it eases my mind to know that now I have a set system that everyone's doing everything right. And if people are doing something wrong, then it's my fault. Maybe my training system isn't exactly where it needs to be, and then I need to go back to the drawing board to do that. But that's what I love about Jolt. Shane, I appreciate it very much. Again, anybody, if you're looking for better system solutions to get your staff, to hold them accountable, to get things done during the day, closing shifts, scheduling, labeling, and especially training. I mean, training systems are key. If you have problems with your manager's staff training people and getting them to do, train everybody the same exact way, Jolt is by far the number one resource I've seen out there to be able to do that. So, Shane, appreciate it again. Again, everybody, jolt.com, check it out, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.